It is I, John Reagan, the uncommon voice for the common man, coming to you today live from an undisclosed location, but it's close to Gotham City for you people in the National Security Agency. I have decided to emerge from my bunker and comment on the George Zimmerman acquittal. That's right, in case you missed it, he has been set free by a jury of 6 women after he allegedly shot and killed Trayvon Martin, a 17-year-old black kid who just happened to be strolling in his neighborhood, minding his own business with a bag of Skittles and his cell phone and God knows what else. But whatever it is, Zimmerman was charged in his murder and he was acquitted. But let me explain something to you. What I propose to do in this video right here and now is try and make sure that everybody in this country understands what really is going on with this verdict and the reaction by the left-wing lunatics to it. In case you haven't seen MSNBC or our president, the scandalizer-in-chief, and their reaction to this, well, the only way you can explain it is they're having a total meltdown over this. They just can't believe that a jury of 6 women would let this guy go free. But that is exactly what happened. But what I want to do is I want to explain to everybody in this country what really is going on here. Because let me assure you, there are forces at work here that you don't understand. And they may be able to fool everybody in this damn country, but by God, they can't fool me. And I'm going to tell you what it is that they're up to. Because let me assure you right here now, I smell a big, fat, commie rat. But first off, I want to know this. When this whole thing went down, the scandalizer-in-chief couldn't wait to get the microphone and tell us all that if he had a son, it would be like Trayvon. Of course, he didn't really know that much about Trayvon, but just the fact that he was black and he was young. And that was good enough for the scandalizer-in-chief. Okay, now that Zimmerman has been set free, where is his apology? Why doesn't the scandalizer-in-chief get on the phone right now and apologize to George Zimmerman? Because he jumped in there with both feet, actually inserted foot and mouth, and now that he's been found innocent, I believe Zimmerman is owed an apology by the scandalizer-in-chief. But he won't get an apology any more than the Duke lacrosse players who were exonerated for raping this poor, defenseless black woman. And Al Sharpton and Jesse Jackson and all the people went down to Duke University and tried and convicted those lacrosse players before they even saw the inside of the courtroom. And it was the same bunch of people. Sharpton, Jackson, MSNBC, Charlie Old, Chris Tingles, Matthew, Rachel Mumphy, Matt Al, and of course, Fathead Ed, I Know Nothing, Sergeant Schultz, and Al Not So Sharpton. And these people tried to convict those lacrosse players before they saw the inside of a courtroom. And of course, the lacrosse players just happen to be the sons of wealthy white families that raped this poor, defenseless black prostitute. But they maintained their innocence from the get-go. And what happened is they got DNA evidence to prove exactly that they were innocent. And of course, there was no apology from MSNBC, from Al Sharpton, from Jesse Jackson. He just dropped the whole thing and moved on. Well, they may have forgotten about it, but I didn't forget about it, and this is exactly the same thing that's going on in this Trayvon Martin case. Now, I will prove it to you beyond a shadow of a doubt. Now, when you actually look at a picture of George Zimmerman and you see him, does he look white like me, or does he look like a illegal alien Hispanic? Well, if you got a brain in your head, then you will figure out that it's the latter. Now, the mantra that these left-wing lunatics want to use is that white people are picking on the poor black man. But the problem here is that George Zimmerman isn't really exactly white. The New York Times refers to him as a white Hispanic. Well, which is it? If you actually see George Zimmerman, you'll say it's probably the latter. He looks more like a Hispanic than he does me. But that doesn't fit the mantra. They sure as hell can't possibly have a Hispanic shooting a young black man. It doesn't work. So what we'll do is we'll just call Zimmerman a white guy. If he's white, I am indeed Al Sharpton. It's almost laughable. Forgive me if I do laugh. Now, let's go on here. Now, what we got here is, remember this? Remember all the crap that went on? There was NBC, of all people, that were doctoring the 911 calls because they didn't really want everybody to hear what actually went on. They tried to edit it, and so that it would fit the mantra of the white guy picking on the poor black man. And then it was ABC doctoring the photos of the bruises and abrasions and cuts on the back of Zimmerman's head. Oh, we sure as hell don't want people to see that. And then there was CNN. They were messing around with it too, doctoring it up so it fits the mantra that they wanted it to fit. And, of course, we know what happened from there. But what's going on now is these damn left-wing lunatics are having this big meltdown because they didn't get a guilty verdict on this guy. But like I said before, now I want you to think about this because you've got to kind of connect the dots. Because what I'm going to say to you right now probably makes more sense than anything you're hearing anywhere else, and that includes Rush Limbaugh. Now, assuming that Zimmerman is not a white guy, he's a Hispanic, and we sure as hell don't want Hispanic on black crime to be perpetrated all over the internet and the cable news networks and stuff like that. So we'll just call him a white guy. It fits better. But he's not white. Now, let me explain something to you so you can figure this out logically. Because let me assure you right now, I smell a big, fat, commie rat. And I mean a big, fat commie rat. Now, if we have Zimmerman, who looks like a Hispanic killing a defenseless black person, that just don't work. So we'll call him white. And that works a lot better. Whether he's white or not doesn't make any difference. We'll just say that he's white. Remember the New York Times, the white Hispanic that Zimmerman's supposed to be? Okay, now, here's the deal. What this is a bunch of damn communists and Marxists that want us at each other's throats. So if you're black and you're listening to this, and you're Hispanic and you're listening to this, let me explain something to you. You are being played for a bunch of chumps by these damn liberal Democrats. That's right. Not just the Scandalizer and Chief and MSNBC, but all of them. All these congressmen that were up there with their hoodies on, crying for justice for Trayvon, you're all being taken to the cleaners by this administration and the liberal Democrats and all their willing accomplices in the media. And that is the truth. Don't you understand, as a Hispanic and a African American, that you are being played for suckers? Why? Because these communists and these Marxists that run this government, the federal government, are so interested in having us at each other's throat that they will do anything that they can to perpetrate that. They are doing this on purpose. They want whites to hate blacks and Hispanics to hate whites. And, well, we don't want to talk about blacks hating Hispanics or anything like that because the left-wing lunatics actually need the blacks and Hispanics. So we'll just all hate white people. Don't you get it? This is the way the communists and Marxists and Leninists have worked all throughout history. You know anything about world history, go back and look what happened in the Russian revolutions. And look how they pit economic class against economic class, or race against race, as this case may be. These people are doing it, these people, of course, meaning Obama and the Democrats, mostly the liberal Democrats, are doing this on purpose. They do this on purpose at every turn. It don't make any difference who it is or what it is. It could be voter registration. It could be immigration. It doesn't matter. They pit each other, us against each other. And I don't know why, but I have a guess that God knows why they're doing it. Probably so that they can stay in power, because the more that they get people to hate white people, the more that they can stay in power. And for all I know, Obama is going to feed this flames of racial hatred to the point where there's rioting in the streets, and he has to call in the National Guard to restore order, and God knows what will happen from there on in. But don't put anything past this guy, because I don't, and I know what I'm talking about. And that's the real deal here. You're all being played for a bunch of chumps by these damn liberal Democrats. They aren't even really liberal Democrats. They're Marxists. They're Leninists. They're socialists. They are the new Soviet Union. They use their tactics against us. And unless we, as Americans, all of us, white, Hispanic, and African American, don't put an end to this damn nonsense, we aren't going to have much of a country left to talk about. Because we'll all be perpetually at each other's throats. And it'll go on until infinity. Unless we rise up as a people and say, enough is enough. Justice has been done in the George Zimmerman case. Enough. It's over with. Move on. The whole thing is nothing but a scam for these left-wing lunatics to begin with. So wise up. Do yourselves a favor. Look up what happened in the Russian Revolution. Look what happened in revolutions all throughout history when it comes to Marxists and socialists and communists. And you will see what I mean. It's not that difficult to connect the dots if you take the time to do it. And that is exactly what you should do. Because remember this, I might be white and I might be a conservative, but my family were abolitionists and fought in the Ohio Volunteers. Oh my God, I said Ohio now, and then I say I know where I am for sure. But they fought as Ohio Volunteers to end slavery because they were abolitionists. And just because I'm white and I'm conservative, sure as hell doesn't mean that I hate black people. And the sooner you people figure that out, you will realize who your true friends are. Until next time, this is your favorite conservative, Ronald Reagan, saying this to you right now. I'm back. And by God, I'm not going to let this damn left-wing hypocrisy go on any longer. Until next time, I say this now. Over